Whether you were born 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or even earlier, there's a good chance that you've played Doom. If you haven't played it, then you probably know it. While there were quite a few first-person perspective shooters in the late 80s and early 90s, Doom was the one that came along and perfected the formula. Its maps, gameplay were fun and fast, its graphics were stylish and memorable, and of course, it had a kick-ass soundtrack. The tech used in Doom was some of the smartest programming done at the time, mainly thanks to John Carmack's technical prowess. But honestly, the whole team at id Software played a vital role in shaping Doom into a legendary game. In today's video, I wanted to showcase a little mod that I've been playing called Doom Delta. What Doom Delta does is that it adds back some cut ideas and content into Doom's gameplay. These ideas are taken from the Doom Bible, which was a game design document written by Tom Hall in 1992. It also is very much inspired from the alpha builds of Doom. We'll take a look at these alpha builds first before we get started. These will give you some reference and idea about what changed. On a side note, I just want to let you know that the detailed videos about these alpha builds and the cut content will be future projects for the channel. Today, it's just a quick look. Alpha 0.2 is from February of 1993. At this point, only 2 months of work had been done, but the bare essentials are here. You have a gun, a HUD, familiar textures, monsters, but nothing much else. But it's very impressive for 2 months of work in 1993, honestly. And you can see the HUD is very different from the final version. Going clockwise, we have a map that doesn't work yet, ammo count, items, dialogues from the characters, health and armor, and lastly, the gun info. I kinda like how the HUD is supposed to be the Marine's helmet. That's a nice touch. A few weeks later in February 93, we have the 0.3 alpha. Starting off, we're with a bunch of Marines playing cards. We have some new weapons, and the only part of the HUD that's working now is the minimap. There's also an alternate HUD that's very compact and gives more screen area to look at. But now there's new maps, new textures, and basically it's a gradual build up to the final game. It's kind of odd looking at these alpha builds. Feels like you're looking at somebody's Doom mod, whereas it's actually the real thing, just an earlier, incomplete version of it. The maps feel very maze-like, as if I'm playing a reskinned Wolfenstein 3D. Alpha 0.4 is from April of 1993. This time around we have a similar starting point, playing cards with the lads. But now we also have doors, items on the floor that can't be picked up, and of course, a very different and incomplete looking HUD. The maps start to get a little detailed as well, especially in terms of their geometry. Alpha 0.5 is from May of 1993. Now we have a familiar menu, a functioning HUD, items can be picked up, and finally, monsters can be killed. Now as far as I can tell, only these 5 are the only available development builds of Doom that you can play through DOSBox. They don't have much gameplay, but they're definitely interesting in terms of historical value. After this, we also have many pre-release and post-release builds of Doom, each with their own difference and improvements, but right now, Alpha 0.5 is where we will be stopping before going into Doom Delta. Right off the bat, you'll notice that there are now 4 new characters as shown on the screen. These 4 were originally supposed to be playable in the game but were cut, so in the end we only got the Doom guy. In the options you can change the HUD, customize it, plus enable or disable a few other options. Starting the game, you have the option to select a character. Each of them has their own pros and cons, but John Petrovich is like the all-rounder middle ground. The first time I started playing the game, it was so strange. Knowing that Doom could have looked like this is a very interesting feeling, to say the least. Now this mod doesn't add in any new maps, or rather restores any old alpha maps, so a map pack like the last episode might be a good combination with Doom Delta. The main highlights for me are the different HUDs you can use plus the inclusion of the cut weapons Doom was supposed to have. Some of them might feel redundant or similar to Wolfenstein 3D, but I just think they're a neat inclusion. It gives you an option to use whatever you like. But overall, it's a neat little gameplay mod that preserves the history of classic Doom. Definitely check this one out if you're into cut content and Doom. Thanks so much for watching, and a big thanks to these benefactors for supporting the channel. Taiwanesium, Bubba, Cats, Quiltman, Unusual, 501st Clone Boy, Interloper CS, TTG, Robocop, Noel, Nobody Important, Franco Senlehi, Cheemsboger, Justin Imbergriff, Tedosaur, Otokan Nachos, Lamdre, Roadkill, Walter, Taylor, Hobgobbies, NoClick, Geode, Fisher Grice, Hawk Assault, Mr. Spabon, Jelen, A Normal Street Lamp, TRY Droid, and Bipolet. Let me know if you found this video interesting and would like to see more. Share feedback and suggestions in the comments. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.